give that vote.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno. And the Kings are back at it tonight, coming off a big victory in Phoenix. They will be without Malik Monk, and they will be seeing a familiar face in Harrison Barnes. It's the Kings. It's the Spurs. We break it all down for you here on the other side, and we recap last night, get your final score predictions, your calls, and much more. Welcome in to the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we ride strong and proud. Running up to score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
And it's a quick turnaround for the Kings and for all of you. We get a double dose of Kings basketball 24 hours after, less than 24 hours after a big win in Phoenix. But first and foremost, way more important than basketball, happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. Thank you so much. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart and everybody here at the channel for your service to our nation. It is not hard to find a veteran. They are everywhere. They are the reason that we all get to live the lives that we get to live, get the opportunities that we have, our freedom on a daily basis. So find one. Thank them. I'm sure you have a family member. Many of you in the chat probably have served. So thank you very much for your service. It does not go over my head or hopefully anybody else's head. You are the backbone of this country. So thank you.
Acknowledge me.
I acknowledge all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're having a great Veterans Day. And by the way, go take advantage of the free stuff today. Veterans, go get it. Different establishments that don't sponsor this show offering free meals. Can't say they're as good as a Bennett's meal, but it's free. Free 99. So go get it. You deserve it. Happy Veterans Day. And thank you again for your service. It is the Kings. It is the Spurs. Get to see Harrison Barnes for the first time in a different uniform against the Sacramento Kings, a guy that was a staple for the Kings over the past few seasons. Love him or hate him, couldn't wait till you could trade him. Harrison was important to what this team did, a constant, very, very imperative in the growth of some of the young guys, showing them how to approach basketball professionally, take care of your body, handle your business, and yes, be a professional. So it'll be nice seeing Harrison Barnes out there. There will be no Malik Monk tonight. We know about that. The sprained ankle, he is out. I don't have a firm timetable on how long he's going to be out. Ankles are very subjective. It depends on the sprain, the grade. I have not seen a grade come through on Malik yet, but I might have missed it. So if you know the grade, you can put it in there. Gammon, yes, thank you for your service. I know you are a veteran. Hopefully you changed that Heat background, my man. Hopefully you got that done from a couple of games ago. If you're going to go with the Heat background, you might as well go with the Dwayne Wade background, right, Gammon? Next time you call the show, Gammon, why don't you just go with this, dude? I mean, oh, do I still have it? It's still here somewhere. There it is. Just go with that, Gammon, as your background. That'll do good. That'll be polarizing. Anyways, Big game last night for the Kings, a game that the Kings typically would lose in the past couple of years. They didn't last night. DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox take over in overtime. In a minute, I'm going to tell you the guy that I am the most worried about on this San Antonio Spurs roster tonight. And it might surprise you if you watch the 2 p.m. show. You know who I'm going to be saying, but it's a reason you should be concerned about this guy. Here's Coach Brown on the overall win last night by your Kings.
Again, we had heavy minutes from DeMar and Keegan and Fox, with it being an overtime game. Made it a little tough, but those guys did a fantastic job. Jordan, we threw him in for a minute, some change, and he was good in his time. We always talk about guys staying ready, and he stayed ready. I thought Doug was good too. Doug did exactly what we asked him to do. Is if you see any daylight at all, let that thing go. I still believe firmly that that ball is going to go in from us from the 3-point line. So we got to keep letting it fly. Let it fly with confidence. But great job off the bench by Trey, getting 6 rebounds. I thought Foxy, he had a hell of a game. 21 points, 11 rebounds. That was big for him to rebound the way he did with 8 assists. Obviously, Domas with another double-double. He just continues to stick his nose in there play after play after play, and just takes a physical pounding, but hell of a job with his double-double. And then Keegan, he's got the toughest defensive assignment all the time, and we're asking him to do a lot. We're asking him to shoot, to score, as well as rebound. And for him to get 14 rebounds, what a huge night, because we needed every single one of them. And I thought our guys overall defensively were really good. They took 57 threes. We did a great job of trying to shrink the floor, make that paint look crowded while getting out to them and contesting the three. But there was no bigger contest than Domas's contest at the end of regulation. Whoever was guarding Booker, I can't remember who it was, maybe Keegan, he got cracked. Domas realized it, and he went on his own, switched out on the Book, and what a challenge. Is big time challenge by Domas on Book to end regulation.
It was a massive challenge by Domas on Book. It was incredible defense, very difficult shot. I thought last night Phoenix was real off balance without Kevin Durant. That was a big deal for them. And by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, it was just too much to ask of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. It was flashbacks to last year, the year before, with Booker and Durant. So certainly the Kings found a way to get it done. They struggled through the end of the third quarter where they had another one of those lulls that you worry about, but overtime, 7 of their 9 possessions they convert of. All 16 come from De'Aaron and DeMar. Absolutely clutch in that one. Let's get to the chat really quick, and then we'll keep talking about tonight. HB is one of the true professionals in the NBA. Could not agree with you more. Jared says, happy Veterans Day. Good job by you, Jared. MC, what is up? Appreciate the kind words, buddy. Lydia, I always go, hello, Lydia. It's like a professional. Hello, Lydia. How are you? Hope you are doing good. I'm not sure that my wife agrees with that, but I'm just kidding. If you were here for the 2:00 show, she was sad to see our loaner car go. She wanted that thing to stay. In fact, she walked out and waved it goodbye. I have never seen my wife go googly eyes over a car like she did with that one. But anyways, Eddie, update on Malik Monk. Yes, he is out tonight. As for the Spurs, this is their second game back with Devin Vassell. He had been out at the start of the season. They are working him back into the rotation. Another noticeable person out for the Spurs tonight, Greg Popovich. He has been out indefinitely with an illness. Hopefully all is good with Pop, one of the most epic basketball coaches in the history of the NBA. But as for the Spurs, everybody wants to talk about, even my dog right now, that guy that's 7'4", the guy that's a little bit of a freak. Yes, Victor Wembanyama. Here's what the Spurs do. They don't really do much well I got to be honest with you. They've got the competitive advantage tonight from the standpoint that they're fresh. The Kings played major minutes last night, 39 for Domas, 42 for DeMar, 42 for Keegan, 40 for De'Aaron, 35 for Kevin Herter. And then you got 28 off the bench from Keon Ellis. Tonight for the Kings, it has to be a group effort. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody here. This is a team that the Kings should beat, but this is a big ask tonight coming off of the game last night, especially with a bench that was thin coming into it, but losing Malik Monk. Now you are asking more of the bench. Coach Brown sent a message, in my opinion, last night to the bench and specifically Trey Lyles. There was a lot of talk about the 3 for 26 shooting performance from beyond the arc a couple of games ago. And coach still wanted to see the ball fly. Let the thing fly. And I thought bringing Doug into that first rotation, let Trey Lyles know, hey, you need to step it up a little bit. Trey's let it fly, but he has not shot the ball well, still getting himself back into a groove. So tonight, it's going to have to be a group effort from the bench. And also, as for the starters, it's big minutes again. You have 3 or 4 starters for your Kings that are in the top 20 in the NBA in minutes played per game. And it is what it is at this point until somebody else, Orlando Robinson, comes back from injury. Not saying he is the next coming. We don't know. We have not seen him yet because he got injured in camp. But until he comes back, until Devin Carter is reevaluated in January, early February, until the Kings possibly make a move, this is what it's going to be to win ball games. But the good thing that you know is this team is winning ball games without the 3-point shot. They're doing it a different way. And if you're Mike Brown, you got to believe that 3 ball is going to come around. I agree the 3 ball is going to come around. The one thing I do like about the 3 ball from this team is the fact that they are keeping it between 35 and 40 attempts for the most part, if not under 30 attempts on some nights. So the Phoenix last night gave the Kings a hell of a test. That was a battle of attrition. Yes, you got the flight in, you get in late, but are you still running off some adrenaline? What kind of confidence do you have coming into this one? Do you think De'Aaron Fox can have another poor game from the field? Now, granted, he turned it on when it mattered, but can the Kings come out from the beginning of this one and show a little bit of dominance, have a little bit of energy? Because again, it's going to have to be a group effort. And you look back to both meetings last season against San Antonio. San Antonio played the Kings really, really well. I hate to say it, but they played the Kings well. In fact, the first game in San Antonio, they jumped out to like a 20-point lead, something like that in the first quarter. And even towards the end of the season, when the Spurs visited the Kings, they played them tough. It came down to the last couple minutes of the game. So expect the Spurs, who are Jekyll and Hyde. They're young. They're still trying to figure this thing out, to be competitive. They don't do, again, I'm going to say anything particularly well. They block shots, 4th in the NBA. So certainly Mike Brown's going to be looking for the Kings to spray the ball. One of my worries is you're probably going to have Keegan Murray starting out on Wemby tonight. Can the Kings play physical without fouling? Simply because you don't have the depth tonight. You can't have Domas, who is now fouled out in 3 of 10 games for the Kings, foul out tonight. You can't have Keegan get in foul trouble. You simply do not have the manpower and the talent on the back end of that bench to pull through it. So all the things that we know the Kings can do well, if they just do a little bit of that, they are the better basketball team, and they're showing that they can win games ugly, and that's what I expect this one to be tonight. Harrison Barnes, who we've talked about as we run through, you're looking at the stats for the Spurs right now. He's been a little bit of the same story in San Antonio, up and down, good nights, bad nights. The guy that I am focusing on tonight, he is a certified first-team All-Kings killer. It is Chris Paul. He is averaging 8 assists, plus 8 assists a game so far for the Spurs. He is a true point guard there just to distribute for the most part, and he has a history of distributing on the court when he plays against Sacramento. I can run down some of the different assist numbers: 12 in one meeting. 12, 12, 19, 12. 12 seems to be the number, but the Kings have problems guarding him at times. So can they control the ball movement? Are those tired legs going to come into play? Will those mental mistakes occur? We will see as we get closer to tip off on this one. The Kings and the Spurs coming at you here in just a little bit from San Antonio. Happy to have you here on the pregame show. Ryan in Sacktown with you. A lot made last night of the officiating. I don't disagree with a lot of the comments that I've gotten on X, things that I've read. The 2-minute report came out as we were doing the 2:00 Kings Court today. And the way I read it, and I've been running around since the 2:00 show, the NBA didn't see anything that was called incorrectly there. Now, if you ask me, the shot clock situation, was that a possession? Didn't seem like it. Mason Plumlee, was that a moving screen? Absolutely. But the bottom line's this: the Kings got the dub. They found a way to fight through adversity. And one thing that I'm super happy about with this team is the fact that last season, that would have been probably a loss just because the Kings would have been more focused on the officials than they would have the game barking. Now, Mike Brown has a little bit of blame here. I thought last night he got let off the hook when it came to his challenges. I did not like the challenge that he did in the first half on an out of bounds ball. What are we doing in a game that you think is probably going to be close, right? And then you have a couple calls in the fourth quarter, specifically the one where Keegan took a charge and was called for a block that ended up being an and one that could have turned that game. I strongly believe had that play been challenged, that would have been called a charge. Keegan was in legal guarding position. He was outside of the circle, and there was nothing the Kings could do for recourse. So things like that tonight, they are going to have to do a little better. Kevin Huerter talked about fighting through adversity and talked about last night's game. Here's what he had to say.
Tough shot making. DeMar really carried us there for a good stretch in the fourth quarter. Fox showed up late for us, big when we needed him in that overtime. We just hung tough. We found a way to win, obviously down 10 late there, and just kind of battled and found a way.
What's that like to, those are two.
And that's what they're going to have to do tonight. Again, they are going to have to battle. You are going to need, for a victory to come through tonight, you're going to have Trey Lyles play some major minutes. He's going to have to be on. He's probably got the freshest legs of the group. You're going to probably see some Doug McDermott in this one as well. And you're going to have to get two double-figure scores off the Kings bench tonight. You're just going to. Is that going to be Keon Ellis? Is that going to be Trey Lyles? Who's it going to be? Keon Ellis is going to get a healthy dose of minutes in this one, but expect some of the guys that don't usually get the minutes to get minutes tonight, because it's got to be a group effort. The minutes played last night, simply overtime, the emotion. Coach Brown has got to find a way to bottle up some energy with this team and keep it flowing throughout the 48 minutes, because San Antonio, again, 4-6 on the season. They do not score a ton of points. Offensive rating, 25th in the NBA. Pace, 24th. The Kings can slow the game down by getting to the free throw line. San Antonio knows all too well at how good DeMar DeRozan is at that. In terms of scoring, the Spurs actually are 5th in the NBA at holding their opponents to only 108.4 points. So that is one thing to look for. Can the Kings get the shots that they want? Also, points scored, they are 28th in the NBA, 106.3. Their net rating minus 2.2, 4-6 on the season. So it really becomes to, what is your game plan on Victor Wembanyama? And I don't mean to give anybody PTSD here, but I could see a situation where the Kings may go with a little bit of that Trae Young trap defense. Luke Laux's zone defense that Mike Brown is quoted as saying makes the hair on his neck stand up at times, although he respects it and runs it. It's ultimately coach's decision, but you might see a lot of that tonight. So can the Kings play well out of the scramble? And if the Kings can take one thing from last night in Phoenix that Phoenix did well and apply it to themselves, it's the spacing. Phoenix's spacing last night, even without Durant, was excellent. was incredible. That has been one of the things the Kings continue to try to work out in this early season. 2 weeks without Monk. There you go. Johnny Finch hopping in. Lyles did a good job on Wemby last season. If I recall, the NBA hates the Kings. The refs seem to bias against Sabonis and Fox. I'm not going to say that they're biased against Sabonis and Fox. I could see where you think that, but I don't think that's the case. I think Sabonis, he plays a physical brand, and realize this, it's a fine line with the referees right now. They're calling games closer to the way that they were calling them at the end of last season, in my opinion, which is really important because that benefits the Kings. The Kings play a little bit of that kind of wiry, physical basketball that it's that veteran special. It's knowing those little tricks of the trade that you can get away with. Keegan Murray almost got away with one there. And hell, again, I'm on the record saying that was a moving screen. That wasn't even a screen. That was closer to a pulling guard in football by Mason Plumlee. So, anyways, getting back to the chat, the NBA is covering for their guys. Well, we can throw it up really quick. Why don't we do that? You can see what the NBA deemed and ruled on the 2-minute report. Why don't we throw that up now that we have the capability here on the pregame show? Where is the 2-minute report? I know you are there. There you are. So here is the 2-minute report from last night. Let's go full screen with it so you can see everything going on. And so the CNC, and again, the Kings won the game, so it's really a moot point. CNC, correct no call. This goes all the way through overtime. Correct no call, correct call, correct call, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, correct no call, correct no call, correct no call, correct call, correct no call, and correct call. So the NBA did not see any issue last night with any of the calls down the stretch. And granted, the Kings still won the game. So it is what it is at this point. Time to focus in on this one. But again, Chris Paul is the guy that I am looking at tonight. The Kings, 1.5 favorites in San Antonio. ESPN's matchup predictor has the Kings winning this one 56.8% of the time. The Spurs, 43.2% of the time. Devin Vassell, who we talked about at the start of the show, he's one of those guys that is very streaky. He can get on one as well. Also, Julian Champagnie, he can also shoot the 3 ball a little bit. So the Kings are going to have to make sure that they do not give up a ton of open threes. We know that was a little bit of a problem last night. It has been a problem going back multiple seasons. So can you drive guys off of the line? If you look at what the Spurs did in their last game against the Jazz, which was a loss. Remember, the Jazz, probably the worst team in the Western Conference. The Spurs started Champagnie, Harrison, Wemby, Chris Paul, and Stephon Castle. Obviously, Castle, the rookie out of UConn, still finding his way, streaky. He was 8 of 16 in that game, so he definitely gets his shots up. We'll go back to the screen so you can look at the Spurs season stats as we sit right now. Here you go. Give those a look. Now, as for the bench, Zach Collins, he's given the Kings problems in the past. Backup big man. He played 15 minutes in that one. And remember the name that I said, Devin Vassell, he was on a minutes restriction, played 22 minutes, however, got 13 shots up in that time, went 8 of 13, 21 points. So expect him to probably get a few more shots up tonight. And we will see. Orlando Robinson, anytime really is the timetable. He's been going through team activities during shoot around. Now, remember, those are walkthroughs. Those are usually individual activities. But anytime he should probably be getting minutes. And by the way, the Kings will be playing at the same time tonight. No, you didn't hear me wrong. The Kings will be playing twice tonight. In fact, they will be playing at the same time. That's right. Stockton kicks off the season tonight. Good luck to Quentin Richardson. Good luck to Gabriel Harris, the new GM in that roster. Stockton looking to have another strong season. Made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. Be covering them heavily on my platform, the Kings Court, so you can pay attention to that. If you want to be keeping up with Stockton, you don't have another Keon Ellis down there. You don't. Maybe if the Kings were in a pinch and he continues to develop Terry Taylor, maybe, but he's not even a two-way guy right now. So a lot on Monty McNair, a lot on Mike Brown to improve this bench, improve what they can from within, and start looking at what's going to happen as injuries continue to ravage the NBA. Chet Holmgren, broken hip, out for OKC now. Injuries are the story of the season so far in the NBA. The Pelicans indefinitely without Zion Williamson, which what are the Pelicans going to do? We've had this conversation many times on this platform. Are the Pelicans going to be sellers at this point? How aggressive are they going to be at trying to get Brandon Ingram off? Or are they going to keep him? Remember, Ingram in the last year of his deal. Not saying Sacramento is still interested in Brandon Ingram, but the Pelicans, I have a hard time believing their season is going to be salvageable, but that does not mean that they are not going to still be catching teams on the back end. Somebody knows my dog's name. Gordo's hungry. Yeah, Gordo was upset because he didn't get to go outside with my wife because my son showed up, and you can hear it from the studio when he starts barking. So anyways, Kings-Spurs tonight. Give me your predictions. What do you guys think tonight? Again, it's gonna be a tough task. It is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't come into this game with lofty expectations that the Kings win. Now, that being said, the Kings can win this game. They can easily win this game. It really depends on game plan. And again, the bench is going to be everything for this team tonight. So important to what the Kings are going to do, because as you look at it, and we've looked at the numbers, I've put them up a few times, the Spurs really do not do anything well. In particular, blocks, fourth in the NBA. Not bad there. Decent rebounding team. Can you keep them off the offensive rebounds? Limit them to one possession, or limit them to one opportunity per possession, Gordo. So, it's funny. Thank you, by the way. He is named after Gordon Ramsay. So his full name is Gordo Ramsay. We dropped the N on that one. We're getting our food talk in, of course. Let's see. Filet mignon. Come on, Johnny. Filet mignon. Yes, indeed. Light the beam. Yes, I like that one. So does Marv Albert. Did I pick up my car? Yes, I did pick up my car. And I also took my fair share of snacks from that dealership. You're going to charge me that much to service my car? I'm going to get all the snacks I want. There ain't no shame in my game when it comes to snacks. Brian, you guys are having good conversations about basketball. I like it. Oh gosh, let's not go here. This is not going to carry over from last show. Mark Jones was your second husband's name. Interesting. Let's effing go. I can get on board with that. Let's see. Get her done. I like it. Hey, Ryno, first time tuning in this season. Let's go Kings. Thanks for tuning in. I get her done. I like that. I get her done. Am I saying it right? I get her done. There you go. You gotta get that deep push out of the throat. Anyway, so what are your predictions for tonight? More importantly, what are your expectations for tonight? Poor dog being fat shamed? My dog's not being fat shamed. You guys are probably talking about something else in the chat. My dog gets plenty of food. In fact, my dog eats like a damn king. That dog doesn't eat dog food. He gets fresh food. He gets chicken, rice, vegetables. He's 100 pounds. He's a big boy. In fact, if you follow me on social, after the show, I will put a picture or I'll put a video of Gordo on X. He inhales food. You can throw that dog an entire hot dog and he'll catch it and not even chew it and be able to eat it. It is nuts. So that dog eats just fine. Hey Ho Studios. I expect the Kings to blow out the Spurs. All right. Excellent. Okay. Huge expectations from Karen. I like it. Again, look, this is a team you can force them into turnovers. They do not take care of the ball particularly well, but at the same time, you cannot overplay. De'Aaron Fox last night. Oh, does it? You're right. It does mean that. You're right. You know what? I should know that. My wife is yeah, I should know that. My bad. Good job, Johnny. This is a team that you can force into turnovers, but you can't overplay them. They will make you pay for it because they have enough of a veteran presence between Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul. I worry about Chris Paul because of the way he distributes. Certainly does not have the same firepower on the perimeter that he had in Golden State. But, last night in the fourth quarter, coming down to the end of the game, Fox overplayed and, in fact, gambled and went for a steal, which ended up being the points that put Phoenix back in the lead and at the free throw line. And I believe that was when I forget who fouled out. Somebody from the Kings fouled out on that play because they had to come over and help. I believe it was Domas. So anyways, you've got to play it straight up, but you might see a little bit of that exotic look, that Trae Young look, where the Kings decide to run that zone. And I think zone defense is a good choice against the Spurs. I'm not sure that the zone trap is a good choice, but picking them up full court, using their age in the backcourt against them, and I know Stephon Castle is young, but Chris Paul, using your age against them, that's a good thing for this Kings. And we know the Kings are very, very good at that. Let's bring in a phone call really quick as we get ready to tip this one off in San Antonio, about 15 minutes away. Want to talk to you too about one of my favorite places. But first, let's go to Peter. Welcome in tonight, Peter.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'll make this quick because I know we're getting close to the game. But number one, apologies for sending the chat through this app the last time.
Oh, no problem, brother.
I got called out by Grant, and I'm like, oh, you don't want that in your lifetime. But what I want to see the Kings, what I want to see them do, I think DeMar's been a great addition to the team. Just his ability. He's done his whole career. I guess you don't really notice it until he's on your team. But his ability to just draw the fouls and the amount of times that he gets the and one on top of it. What I want to see them do is maybe I'm overstating this last season, but they were a high-powered offense, but it felt like anytime they played a slower team, they ended up playing slower basketball with them. And it allowed that team to stick with them. And I'd like to see them just, if the shot's not falling or something's not working, not to get complacent. I mean, is that something you saw last year or the season so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to compare what we've seen this season offensively to last year. I mean, the closest thing would really be the second half of last year. After Malik Monk went down and the offense went more to a mid-range and defensive-based game where your defense turned into offense. But your point's well taken. The Kings will sometimes get lulled into that 4-out, 1-in look if they're not getting the looks. And that usually happens when teams zone them. And I'm not sure that the Spurs will zone them tonight, but 100%, you are right. The Kings have to bring the energy. We know they are capable of it, right? Because we saw it last night. We've seen it in other games, the third quarter in Miami, but can they bring that at different spurts? I don't expect it for 48 minutes. That's not realistic, but offensively, you're spot on. bring it. And, maybe that's where Mike Brown needs to break things up a little bit better, call a timeout here or there. I can't believe I'm saying that about Mike Brown, but maybe break things up with timeouts a little bit more and step in as much as he hesitates to do so because he likes to let them play. And we've seen that actually work out for them down the stretch where he's not been calling timeouts and they're getting good shots.
No, that's very true. And I think it's also funny that there are times where I'm like, yelling for him to call a timeout, and he's just like, I'm going to let it play. And then other times he'll call a timeout, and I'm like, come on, that was like one bad play. It's fine, let it move. But
Right.
I'm not a coach, and he gets paid to do that. But is there a team? I'll wrap up quick here. But is there
Yeah,
a
you're
team
good.
that you ever? So I'm speaking as a fan. Since the Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, even the Jason William era, I have not seen this team as likable. I guess what I mean by that is the players seem to really like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not seen it at that level since those days where everyone's kind of rooting for each other. Like Fox hit that big 2 at the end of the last game.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan just comes right up to him, like chest bumps and like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
The chemistry on the team seems to be really good. It's like it's just not quite clicking on all cylinders yet.
Yeah, you know what? You're not going to see a team like you saw back in the 2001, 2002 team or 2002 years because that was just such a different team. That was the exception to the rule. That team was family. They spent time with each other off the court. Some of them lived on the same block. It was so much different. And in today's NBA, it's just a different world, right? We're 22 years removed
I
from
know.
that. But I would say the chemistry of this team over the past 3 years is probably the closest. And they're not close, but it's probably the closest thing to where you've had a team that's together now for some time. But what you said about DeMar and Fox, it's really true. I think the importance of DeMar, I feel like DeMar in some ways, De'Aaron Fox has been leading himself through a dark hallway on how to be a franchise player. And for the first time in De'Aaron's time here in Sacramento, it feels like he has that big brother that's been there before.
Yeah.
And that he truly respects. Not to say that De'Aaron's not respected his other teammates, but for whatever reason, he is extremely relatable to DeMar. And that's a special thing because you can see situations like DeMar and De'Aaron not work out where they're fighting over shots. Look at Atlanta with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. So it's an excellent point, and you just got to give it time. De'Aaron talked about it at the end of last game. I'll find the audio, but the overtime period, DeMar came up to him after hitting a couple shots. He's like, all right, you go do your thing. This is getting tiring. So, they're going back and forth. It's good call. Great effort, good points, and really good stuff, Peter. Good job, dude.
Well, I wonder if it's like, because when Sabonis came there, you could tell Fox has a ton of respect for Sabonis, and the same from Sabonis to Fox. I wonder if it's the position that DeMar plays where Fox kind of has that little extra oomph of like, okay, you're playing the perimeter and that's kind of your thing is, doing those outside 2-point shots. So maybe there's a little added respect there of, you kind of play closer to the position that I play. But
well,
anyway.
and here's the other thing about DeMar. DeMar's been on some lean teams. He's been a really good player through some lean years, and De'Aaron's pretty much experienced that during his tenure, and certainly playing the guard position helps. I just feel like he truly respects DeMar, and DeMar's the one that lit into the team at halftime in Miami, and that is something that's been missing from this team over the past 2-3 years.
What did he do? I didn't know. What did he do?
Yeah, at halftime, DeMar was very vocal about what the
good.
Kings needed to do, and Coach Brown talked about the guys holding each other accountable, and a few players had talked about it. So yes, DeMar spoke up at halftime in Miami.
Thank you for that. I didn't know that.
Yep.
But thank you,
got
Ryan.
it.
Done a
Appreciate
great
you, Peter.
You've been good on this show, so appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Good job by Peter. All right, get your. I said the clutch bunch. The clutch bunch. It kind of rhymes, kind of doesn't. But yeah, clutch bros, whatever you want to call them. I want to find the right quote from De'Aaron. Real quick.
I mean, obviously, we want to be able to put 4 games together. And
That is not the one. Let's find this really quick for you because I think it is important to hear. Gives you some context into him and DeMar's relationship.
if we're able to do that, then you can almost throw anybody out there if we're playing team defense the way that we did tonight.
And that is not it. There's only one more, so I know which one it has to be. De'Aaron Fox. See, I wish I had a producer to help me out with these things. Anybody want to apply? Anyways, maybe I didn't record it. Anyways, De'Aaron just basically said how they worked it out. Is this something that you can do all game? What's the dynamic when it comes down to crunch time? Jason Anderson from the Sacramento Bee he asked this of De'Aaron, he asked this of Coach Brown. Is this what you envisioned when you brought DeMar DeRozan in? Is this exactly what you wanted? And both of them gave their respectful answers. We'll get that audio after the game for you. But the Kings and the Spurs getting ready to tip off. Give me your final scores. Let's put them in. We'll go over them really quick. DeMar brings guys together similar to how Vlade did years ago. Yep, I agree. Frogger 103.98. I like it. Dirt and Rust 132. 129 OT. 2 OT games in a row. All right. You think the Spurs can put up that many points? They're 28th in the NBA in scoring. Again, going over their stuff. 28th at 106.3 per game, allowing 108.4. That's 5th in the NBA. So they can play a little bit of defense. The Kings need to put pressure on that defense. O'Brien, 118, 109. Rich, double trouble. All right. For Fox and DeRozan. Look, somebody's going to come up with that tagline. Keep trying. I like it. Double trouble, not bad. 103, 106 Spurs. Fair enough. Respect it. Don't mess with the Dementors. Dementors. The Dementors. The problem is it kind of sounds close to like Dement. I see you working. I like it. Johnny, 116, 105. Very good. Keep them coming really quick as we get ready to wrap up. One other thing that I absolutely like is Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. Do me a favor. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com and check out all 3 of their fabulous locations in the greater Sacramento area. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. And boy, oh boy, do they have incredible specials that run throughout the week and the weekend, Monday through Friday, happy hour, 2 to 6 o'clock. There's sips and tastes. Also tonight, Wine and Dine Monday. 2 entrees, bottle of wine under $70. Tell me somewhere else you can find that in Sacramento. And the service, the portion sizes, everything incredible. Again, prime cuts of seafood and steak. Now taking your to-go orders online at bennettsrestaurants.com. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring the pregame show tonight. And when you go in, let them know that you heard about them here on If You Don't Like That. Also, don't forget, we are back at halftime with Jerry Reynolds. We were blessed to have Jerry with us for post-game last night. That was a lot of fun, but Jerry will be here at the half, breaking down the first 24 minutes of quick start for the Kings is so important tonight. It would be great to see a quick start because it'll be hard if the Spurs get off to a quick start. Not impossible, but it will be hard because of the circumstances in the minutes last night and the emotion last night. Any last minute scores, get her done. 176, 172 quadruple overtime. Love it. We will see. Will we see Len guard Wemby? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Maybe in some switches, but I don't think Coach Brown's going to match those two up. You got to go speed. Just like Wemby has the size advantage on everybody, most have the speed. advantage on Wemby. So a guy like DeMar DeRozan, a guy like Foxy, the pump fake tonight is going to be so important. Get him into foul trouble. And conversely, the Kings cannot get into foul trouble. We all know that. Fox and Hound, that is not bad. Flores, we already got that one. All right, we're going to get out. Fun pregame show again. Grant and Jerry here at halftime. Looking forward to it. Thank you to everybody for showing up and supporting. If you don't mind, give us a like, give us a retweet, give us a thumbs up, whatever it may be, whichever platform you are watching on. Make sure you subscribe. Really appreciate it. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe to the Kings Court too. That is my daily show, and then also exclusive audio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Literally wherever you get your podcasts, you will find the Kings Court with Ryno. Don't charge you a dime for it either, with the exclusive audio from my source, or talking to my sources, being close to the team, all that. So nice little Kings Insider podcast where we break down what is going on inside the team. So make it a great first half. Hopefully the Kings come out to a damn good start. Get her done. I'm with you. Light the damn beam.
Acknowledge me.
All right, we are out of here. See you at halftime. Jerry Reynolds right here on If You Don't Like That at the end of the second quarter. So long.